Consumer confidence hits a 4-year low. Let's have a look. Good morning everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Got my stein of coffee and I thought we would start the day by having a look at this article from news.com.au about consumer confidence crumbling to a 4-year low, guys. I mean, this is a different data source or a different methodology from the consumer confidence that we looked at from the Westpac and Melbourne Institute. You can see there it's already low in this data as well. This is based on the Roy Morgan data at ANZ. So let's have a look. Consumer confidence slumped to a 4-year low on the weekend, according to a survey that suggests people are bracing themselves for more grim economic times. Now, regardless of the predictions from our Reserve Bank or hopes of our Reserve Bank governor, I would say this is probably a better sign of where things are headed because it's a feedback loop, really. The ANZ Roy Morgan Australian Consumer Confidence Index fell 2.8% from the previous week, with respondents' positive views of the economy over the next 12 months falling 1.3%, and sentiment about conditions during the next 5 years plummeting 4.6% to an all-time low. The weekly measure of consumer mood, which is based on about 1,000 face-to-face interviews conducted on Saturday and Sundays, also registered a 4.4% decline in how people thought about the outlook for their families' finances during the next 12 months. Now let me know in the comments, guys, if you have ever actually participated in one of these surveys. It'd be interesting to see, what the experience is like. I think the closest I got was I got paid $100 to sit in a marketing event, answering questions. Don't know if it was worth it, to be honest. The numbers released on Tuesday indicated a sharp deterioration of sentiment, with the latest polls time to buy a major household item metric sliding 3.3% to below the decade-long trough touched in September. So there you go. What does that tell you, guys? And remember, this is weekly data based on interviews with actual people. The overall Consumer Confidence Index was at its lowest level since September 2015. Perceptions about the economy over the forthcoming year sank to depths last recorded in February 2016, and pessimism about the 5-year period was the most extreme since the weekly version of the survey started in August 2008. Well, that's a decade ago, isn't it? Bloody hell, we're going to be 2020 soon. That's crept up out of nowhere, guys. You all ready for Christmas, New Year's? Spurred by weakness in economic conditions and the time to buy a household item sub-index, overall consumer confidence fell further and is now at its lowest level in more than 4 years, ANZ economist David Plank said. Well, see, this is a thing. This time to buy a big household item, that is a big portion of consumer and retail spending. And what is our treasurer hoping will be driven up by this increase in house prices that apparently is being pushed by CoreLogic and REA? What do you reckon, everyone? What do you think? The weakness continues to be driven by a very pessimistic economic outlook. Indeed, consumer views on the future economic outlook are now at their lowest level in the history of the survey. This now seems to be impacting sentiment towards consumers' own finances, with future expectations of financial conditions now below average. CommSec economist Craig James said the survey results would worry businesses hoping for customers in the run-up to the Christmas period. The latest consumer confidence data offers no joy for retailers. Retailers must work extra hard to secure the affection of customers, Mr. James said. See, this is one thing I'm interested to watch over the Christmas holiday period. If we're going to get an uptick in spending, if we have low retail spending over the Christmas period, maybe that bumps up unemployment. How do you think the RBA is going to respond? Are we going to get one tick closer to that 0.25 magic QE number? It's interesting. I think John Adams sent around an article where I think it was the Fin Review, I just looked at the title, where essentially people are claiming that, QE is not even on the table from our governor's speech. But I thought he just set out the conditions for when QE would be on the table. You know, just because he says he doesn't think we're going to hit 0.25 in the foreseeable future, it doesn't mean anything if retail figures plummet and unemployment goes up and he doesn't have much else to do. What do you reckon, guys? So let's jump and have a look. Let's have a look at, because this is from the Roy Morgan data, and this is, we'll go through the questions, guys, the questions that are actually asked. If you're not familiar with these type of indices or ways of measuring, it's to do with, you know, simply asking people a series of questions and then comparing the answers over time, and that's how you get a feel. It's creating a quantitative measure, which is essentially a numerical measure, a measurable measure, from a qualitative type of question, you know, a touchy-feely type of question. So, question 1. Would you say you and your family are better off financially or worse off than they were at this time last year? So, better off was 35, worse off 24. You can see it's slightly higher better off than previous. And we can see here, I mean, this is week to week, isn't it? 1,038 interviews. And we have here results for the component questions over the more recent survey are as follows. So question difference is 11. This time next year, do you and your family expect to be better off financially or worse off than you are now? Better off is 37, that's gone down. Worse off is 16, that's gone up. Question difference is 21. Question 3. Thinking of economic conditions in Australia as a whole in the next 12 months, do you expect we'll have good financial, bad times, or some good and some bad times? So good times has stayed the same, bad times has increased. And this is just from 1 week. Okay, the difference is 11, or negative 11. So, I mean, you can tell how many more people think they're going to have bad times. Looking ahead, what would you say is more likely, that in Australia as a whole, we'll have continuous good times during the next 5 years or so, or we'll have bad times, or some good and some bad? So what we're saying, more people are arguing for bad times, and it's gone up, it's gone up, it's gone up since October. Question 5. Generally, do you think now is a good time or a bad time for people to buy major household items? 42 are saying it's a good time, but that's still gone down, but not much. Bad time to buy, 25. That's jumped a lot. Still more people think it's a good time. There you go. I mean, that's interesting to see. Do you think it's a good time or a bad time to buy a major household item? Depends. Do they ask how you're going to buy it? Are people using Afterpay to buy it? Isn't that the thing that happens over Christmas? Everyone just goes nuts with the credit cards, buying for presents and dinners and all of these things, and then it just hits them next year, or the beginning of the year when the credit card statements come in, then retail takes a hit. So, results for the ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Rating for the component questions over the more recent survey are as follows. So, dates interview. Would you and your family say you're better off financially or worse off this time last year? And here they're going further on. So there you go, these are the questions. April, May. So let's have a look. What was it at for the first question? In January, 31 were saying better off, 25 were saying worse off, and where are we now? We are 35 better off, 24 worse off. So it'll be interesting to see where it all goes, guys. So they've got a bit of other data here. Business confidence as well. I like the Roy Morgan methodology, particularly with regards to their unemployment data. And if you're not familiar with it, have a look around and look at what they do. So it's interesting to see the differences and the fact that they're doing actual interviews. So guys, is this affecting your take on it? Where is your sentiment sitting? Are you more confident for the next year? What do you think times are going to get tough? What about the next 5 years? What do you think will happen if retail spending over Christmas is not as good as people expect? Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like my content and want to help me produce more, I do have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. I also have a affiliate link with Amazon and eBay, where if you make a purchase using that link, I receive a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a great way for you to support content creators you like. We also have our new Pocket Square merch at says.heise.com.au. And finally, we've got PayPal and Ethereum if you want to make a donation like that. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye for now.